subscribe to James the Sheriff Dixon, you motherfuckers.
Okay, this is Fun Times with the Sheriff, Season 2, Episode 4. I'm here with my cousin Brent. Say hi.
Hey, how's it going, everybody?
So we're going to talk about Steven Spielberg movies tonight. So we should probably start out with the one that's not going into 6 movies, Close Encounters.
That's a good one. It's a classic, a cult classic, some might say. It was a 70s movie, if I'm remembering correctly.
Yep. It's pretty much a sci-fi alien movie, too, which one of the reasons why I like it.
Yep, I was trying to get my kids to watch it this weekend. They were not very interested in it, so unfortunately, which is surprising because my oldest loves space, so I figured this would be right up her alley.
Which is funny because we were just talking about, like, we would watch this, like, when back in, like, 10 or so years ago when we would go on camping trips in the mom's minivans and all that.
Oh, yeah, yep. Yeah, your mom always had that cool van with the DVD player or VCR in it, so we could watch movies on those long trips.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's pretty much what I fondly remember of that movie, is pretty much all the family in the car together and watching Close Encounters, and that's, in my mind, one of my favorites.
Absolutely. Yeah, it's a lot of good music in it. Of course, the iconic, the lights and the music that they play towards, when you actually see the ship and all that. And just the soundtrack and the overall story. So just a really good classic movie, not just for the nostalgia factor, but actually really well. I feel like it was a little bit ahead of its time even because, it's late 70s. So I think it was after the first Star Wars movie. But and I know Star Wars was a huge hit too. But this was kind of branching out into a genre that wasn't really explored. Yeah, in color film or anything like that.
It was way before the X-Files too. So.
Oh yeah. Yep.
Yep. And again, he does wait till like I want to say the hour mark or like halfway through the movie to even like show the first grouping of the UFOs.
Right.
He does that. His thing is he likes to wait to show everything instead of showing it right away. Right,
kind of like building a suspense, or you can kind of try and use context clues for foreshadowing purposes. But yeah, he's not like hey, they're first 5 pages of the script we're gonna have a flying saucer.
Yeah, like the first 20 minutes.
He wants you to identify with the characters. I feel like before he throws all the big special effects in there.
Okay, so yeah, we were talking about like the dad being the main character pretty much, and
right.
Yeah, like you said, slowly building up the characters arc. Like he goes crazy throughout the rest of the movie pretty much until he actually sees the aliens.
Right. Yeah, and that's kind of like a staple of Steven Spielberg's directing style. I feel like he spends time, at least in the first iterations. If there's sequels, he kind of jumps into the action pretty quick. But first iterations, he wants to build. He wants you to build rapport with the characters mostly. And there's going to be, against Steven Spielberg, there's going to be stunning special effects and there's going to be a great story behind, something going on in the movie later. But one of his very noticeable styles is to lead you down a path like, hey, this is, we're going to establish this character and then we're going to maybe turn it on its ear.
Yeah.
Or something crazy is going to happen. So.
And he is a big fan of practical stuff too. Yeah.
Right.
So, unless there's anything further to say, like you were talking about, if he jumps the gun on sequel stuff, we could jump right into Jurassic Park.
Talk about, again, so first movie was, they spent a good 30-40 minutes.
With the dinosaurs, yeah.
Yeah, they had the fossils and whatnot, and explaining the very first scene of that movie is them digging. They're in a mine, and he finds the
Velociraptor.
The opening scene is the Velociraptor, and then the next scene, which is more of an establishing scene, is them digging, and they find the
amber.
The amber with the
mosquito.
Yeah, sorry, I'm. It's been a long day, but yeah, they find something which eventually becomes the cane topper, which is another kind of leading you into, hey, this is we don't really know what's in that cage that rips that dude's arm off. I mean, you can use context clues. Jurassic Park, it's probably some
Yeah.
kind of dinosaur.
Yeah.
But then you see these stunning visuals. About 40 minutes in, you spend some time learning who Dr. Grant is, and
the main character, yeah, the main adults, yeah, and the kids, yeah.
Yep. And the kids showing up, but yeah, no, it just again character development. I mean, they do start off with kind of a cannon fire with that raptor getting all messing up that the handler, kicking the cage and all that stuff.
Yeah.
But it's a little bit of a departure from the Close Encounters method, but it's also 20, 21, 22 years later.
Yeah,
I think.
Yeah, 93 is the first one, and then like 2 years later is the second one. Yeah.
Right. And then when it's the second one, they kind of jump right into the action. That's the one where they start off with like the boat and the parasailing and all that stuff, right?
No, that's the third one.
That'd be the third one. Second one is
Jeff Goldblum's movie.
oh right, when they go back in the camper with his daughter and all that stuff.
Yeah, the girlfriend.
Right.
I want to say is my favorite one out of the three, the original three, not the new ones. I've always
not the Chris Pratt reboots.
I've always liked the Jeff Goldblum second movie.
Yeah, it was a good one. I just like Jeff Goldblum as an actor. He's kind of like a more tame Nicolas Cage.
Yeah.
He's still got that eccentricity to him, or accent, however you say that word. He's pretty eccentric with his what he says and what he does and how he acts. Like his methods are definitely his own. He definitely has a style, but he does make a good movie.
Yeah. So now that I said mine, which one would out of the? I want to say all of them is yours.
Definitely got just the first one, and honestly, it's just because of that scene where they're driving in the Jeep, and the lady is looking at a leaf, and she's like just dumbfounded. She's like, "Oh, this plant hasn't existed for millions of years," and he just grabs her by the face or the top of the head and turns her head. Because she's just not listening, because she's just geeking out over a plant, and then they see like a fucking 220-foot tall dinosaur.
How they didn't see that beforehand when they first drove in.
Yeah, that's just like that's how focused she was on that leaf, I guess. I mean, but it's only a dinosaur that weighs as much as a cruise ship, so I mean, it can't really pull focus from a leaf.
By the way, the second Jurassic Park, I want to say it was Richard Attenborough who plays John Hammond. That was one of his last films that he's ever filmed. I want to say he did it actually shortly die after that.
Oh yeah, that makes that. I think I remember that actually, because I'm like, well, there goes the franchise, because that guy is pretty much as much as Jeff Goldblum and the other actors from the first movie and everyone from the third movie are like the focal point. The whole backstory is tied into his character, creating the park and designing, figuring out how to clone dinosaurs and everything. It's like, without him, what is there? Why are we doing this?
Yeah. That's why he was just did that interview in the very last scene of the second one on TV instead of actually being there, pretty much.
Right. Yep. But yeah, it's a great set of movies those were, man. They're, I mean, visually stunning for their time, and again, when they're like, here's all this crazy stuff, but we're gonna go back and explain the nuts and bolts of it. So it's like Spielberg kind of likes to try and get people. I feel like he likes to get people emotionally invested in his projects to the point where it's like, even if the dialogue's not the greatest, at least we have all this information, great actors, good story.
But life finds a way.
Exactly.
That's a great line. What do you mean the dialogue's not great?
Oh no, I was saying all the. I'm not even talking about necessarily Jurassic Park movies. I'm talking about other just other movies that he's directed where maybe it wasn't the best script or the best. I might be digging myself into a hole here, but I'm just saying that like you could tell that he wants people to be passionate about his project as much as he is. So like he's a director that gives a damn. Essentially, he's not just doing it for a paycheck. He's actually trying to create what he considers art, and he wants to like share that art with other people.
Mm-hmm.
That's why I like Spielberg as a director. I always have.
Did you happen to see that animated Jurassic Park thing on Netflix?
No, I don't have Netflix anymore right now, unfortunately.
Well, it's Steven Spielberg is a big part of that show.
Really?
Yeah,
I'll have to look into that then.
it takes place right after the first Jurassic World, and it like leads into the other ones.
Oh, cool. Is that the Jurassic World? That's the new one with Chris Pratt, right?
Yeah,
And the raptor
yeah.
trainer. Okay,
Yeah,
cool.
they got new combination of dinosaurs in each one.
Oh, wow.
But I was gonna say for the Jurassic World, I couldn't understand the difference between the Indoraptor and the Indominus Rex because they're both made from T-Rex and Raptor.
Right. I'm guessing one was probably maybe just shorter than the other. Something crazy like that.
And then you had to have a gun to point at your enemy when you already had a gun pointed at your enemy to have that raptor attack.
Yeah. Yep.
But I already said did you agree Jeff Goldblum's probably your favorite of all the characters on?
Yeah, from the original trilogy, absolutely. And then he makes a cameo at the end of the second Jurassic World.
Yep.
But his character, I mean, it was crazy too because I don't think they were figuring on him being such a big part of the movies, but he does what Jeff does and just kind of stole the scene, or stole the show.
Yep. And I think that's why the original cast are going to be in the last one. I think the next one is going to be their last one. Yeah. These Laura Dern, Sam Neill, and Jeff are all going to have way bigger parts.
Nice. Well, yeah, now that they've kind of folded it all together with his cameo at the end of the third one or second one there, I would imagine that they could bring the rest of the cast on. And again, I can't imagine why they wouldn't want to be part of it.
Yep.
Makes money. Everybody likes money.
Yep, that's true. And I've been seeing like reports that maybe it's going to be like almost 3 hours because it's the last one too. So
I believe that. And a lot of movies, a lot of studios are pushing for that 3 hour, yeah, because they've seen people sit through, Endgame and hell, I think Titanic was even close to 3 hours long, and that was back in the 90s. And that was a standalone film.
Oh, there was one more on the list that you said one of your favorites is if you want to jump up since we're discuss that as Saving Private Ryan.
Oh yeah, that is one of my favorite genres of movie. One of my favorite movies of all time is Saving Private Ryan.
I first saw that movie back in I want to say middle school, high school. I don't think they show that anymore to this generations of kids.
No, that is definitely a movie that they would not show to kids these days. But I mean, then again, this is another one of those movies that shows first shot of the movie is Arlington National Cemetery, and it opens on a veteran walking up to with his family walking through Arlington and going to a gravesite and kind of down and starting to cry, and his family gathers around him, and then it goes close on his eyes, and then smash cut to D-Day Normandy on Omaha Beach, and just brutal war scene, brutal battle. Anyone who knows anything about history of World War II knows what D-Day is. And
who's like taking a history class, pretty much, yeah.
Oh yeah, absolutely. And it's just again, you start off like, oh, who is this guy, and why is he sad, and why do we care?
It's so important,
and then it goes and basically spend a good amount of time on the battle at Normandy Beach and D-Day, and get through it, and battle's won or the battle's winding down, and it comes in close on a guy's backpack that says Ryan on it, and then you smash cut to an office where they're writing the hey, we're sorry your kid died in battle letters, and they find out oh, why is this you find out the whole premise of the movie.
Yeah.
Again,
Tom Hanks' great performance.
absolutely. He's gives it 110% in that movie. And there was actually recently I don't know how recently it was, but Sam Elliott gave a speech on behalf of a veteran who'd survived the D-Day assault on Normandy Beach, and was told his story for him essentially, because the guy's like in his 90s and probably not a very good public speaker, or maybe just didn't want to get up and tell the story, but he told the story, and that's about the only other person I could think that would give such a compelling performance in that, because they're both very intense, and but I think honestly they couldn't have done a better job of casting that role, Tom Hanks, from start to finish.
Yeah. Like I said, I can't believe they're not showing that anymore. At the same time, in schools, at the same time, I understand.
Right. Well, I mean, you got to think about, and not to get political or anything, but you got to think about all the rewriting of history that they want to do. They want to take away cartoons and renaming football teams and all that stuff in the name of being politically correct. But at the same time, it's forgive the term, but whitewashing history. We're trying to gloss over some of the stickier parts of our past, and it's like, if you don't teach people that this was something we did and grew out of, then it's going to happen again. You don't have to celebrate our mistakes, but you shouldn't pretend like they never happened. Because when but that's it. War is, to borrow a phrase, war is hell, man. And again, something from a video game, war never changes. It's always dirty, and there's always a winner and a loser, and the history books are written by the victors, blah, 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 blah. That's a big piece of history. That was literally, a handful of Germans were keeping us off a beach, and we sent thousands and thousands of people in, and the only reason we made it onto that beach was because thousands and thousands of people died. And that's like, it's a hard story to tell.
Yep.
But they did a great job in that movie. And again, following with Spielberg, it's like, why do I care about this old man crying? Oh, I know about this. I read about this in history class. This is pretty gruesome. What does this have to do with the movie I'm watching right now? Oh, it all ties together. Look at that. 20, 30 minutes in, we've got a story, and we can't wait to see what happens next.
Yep.
So that's what he does. He can do it with fictional dinosaurs. He can do it with UFOs. He can do it with history that we all know.
Yeah.
We're still something that we all know about. We're still like, what's going to happen next? I can't believe this is going on.
Yep.
So, yeah, he's a hell of a director.
Well, we are coming up on that time, and we did discuss everything. So
sounds good.
Any last words?
All the movies named here, great to watch. Anytime you could marathon run all the Jurassic Parks. You could take them one at a time. You could watch. You could watch any of these movies by themselves for the first time and walk away going, "Wow, that was a hell of a movie. That was directed well." So, if you've never enjoyed his work, give it another shot, or give it a shot.
And I do want to say at this time, I believe all the at least the first 3 of the Jurassic Parks are on Netflix.
Oh, really? That's good to know. And then there's always the multi-platforms. If you have Hulu or Amazon Prime, a lot of people forget Amazon Prime comes with a video service. You can usually get them for a couple of bucks. If you want high definition, it's usually less than 10 for movies that are that old. So,
All right.
Yeah.
Well,
absolutely.
Thanks for having me.
No
thanks for being on.
Well, thanks for having me. I'll take that line right out of your mouth and put it in mine. It's a good time talking to you, Jim.
All right.
I just want to shout out an amazing channel, James the Sheriff Dixon. Oh, he's such a great guy, and he is super cool for coming to the show. I'm glad I got to meet him in person, and you should subscribe.